Hey, Growth Group leaders. It's Pastor Nick here, Pastor Tim. We got another easy sermon for us to go over. It's going to be a piece of cake.
Let's talk about sex again.
Woo! It's great. Before we get into it, wanted to address some of the questions about coming up in growth groups, and a real quick insight on that. We had the question of what do we do with over-talkers and under-talkers in our group? And the one thing we wanted to relay, if we could give just one answer to this question, is essentially we want to level the playing field and address this in our groups. I want to address it to you, and you can address it in your groups, especially as it's relevant. And it's that the reality is this. All of us fall into one of those categories.
Mm-hmm.
We're all either
lean one way or the other.
Yes. We lean under talk, lean over talk.
Yeah. What are you?
Well, as a leader, I end up over talking.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
But if there's like other strong personalities in the room, I under talk.
I see that too in you.
Yeah.
Sometimes in our crazy staff meetings, you under talk, and we have to say, "What do you think, Nick?"
Quick to listen.
Yeah. Okay. Good for you. Way to spiritualize that, Nick.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like the takeaways, we just need to have grace. We're all in a process. We're all somewhere in this, and we just need to be able to love the other people in the room. So if you are an over talker, hey, you can show grace to others by not talking as much and being a little more quiet. And if you're an under talker, then you can be challenged to speak up more because you have something to value, and it benefits the whole group for you to be present and say something. See, that matters to me. See that? It applies to me.
Let me say a couple of things here too. So, because I'm an over-talker. So I was in a small breakout group with Eric Collins. Shout out Eric Collins if you're listening to this. And I was so impressed. He asked such great questions. He listened so actively this morning in our Men's Connect time. And I just thought he listened really well. And he just led our breakout group so well. And so if you're an overtalker like me and Nick when he's leading, is like let the silence hang a little bit. Like don't be afraid of silence. I think overtalkers, we have a lot to say. We want to, we want to move the group along, and then we're kind of afraid of silence, and so let it hang. Like let it get awkward a little bit. Like that's okay. Like, and you might jokingly say, I can wait all day, or whatever. Like there's ways to kind of acknowledge the awkwardness of silence, embrace the awkward. And then second, like sometimes you got to check an overtalker. And that can happen. I've done this in groups like, hey, thank you so much. I kind of want to hear from some other people. I've said that, or that's one strategy, or you say to an overtalker privately, hey, you're just like me, I'm an overtalker. I just want to encourage you to talk a little bit less so that we can make a little more space for those who maybe are undertalkers. And so I think those are two strategies. But you care for your group when you check overtalkers and when you encourage undertalkers. So, as your group grows in intimacy, I think it's really appropriate to say to an undertalker, hey, so-and-so, again, you're calling them out by name. You have such great things to say, but we want to hear them. Like, what do you got here? And so again, like that, you might do that privately if you don't have rapport with that person quite yet. But as you grow in rapport, it just becomes known. Everybody starts knowing who everybody is, and you can just kind of go for it, and it makes the group fun. And but I think we're saying like, hopefully you notice who are the undertalkers, overtalkers. Like you should notice that. And then I really like the goal that Jess gave us, which was good job, Nick. So the goal is we want everybody in the group to
participate in the meeting.
Thank you.
Everyone speak up.
Yeah, and so a win for your group is when everybody in your group participates in some way. If people do not participate, like that's not good. Like that's a loss for your group. So I think that's a great measuring stick. Is like, hey, is everybody in the group shared? Like that's a great group discussion.
I think I've seen you do all of those tips that you just mentioned.
Really?
I've seen it in practice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In staff meetings and stuff?
Yes. The amount of times you've pulled me aside to say I've talked too much. So many times.
I have not. He's lying.
All right, let's talk about sex. All right, so this is the third essentially message on sexual immorality, and I wanted to highlight a few of the things we talk about. Do you want to preview real fast, or should I just jump into questions?
You can just jump in, I think. I mean,
yeah. So basically, you touch on like the way we approach this topic, the way the world approaches this topic, immediately jumps into the mire, into the mud, into the deception. And I'm kind of curious why that is. I mean, you might be sharing that more in the message, but I don't know. What is it? Why is it we're drawn away from the truth and into these false ideas?
Because sex feels so good. I mean, because, like I think we have strong desires. I think that the world and the enemy, we're going to talk about this, like tells us lies around this area. Like, so the enemy kind of exploits our natural desire. And, so I think that's it. And I think this is a really powerful part of our lives. And so it's incendiary. It's, it's dangerous. It's toxic. It's like, it's powerful in our lives. And so, I think, I don't know, like we're men, but like men, like we're thinking about sex all the time. Like it's super real.
How do we get our groups to open up and admit to these things and like relate? I sat down with a guy in my growth group and it was pretty easy, just like, oh, let's share. Here's the dirt. But that was one-on-one. I don't know. Any thoughts? How do we bring this to the group?
Well, I think maybe this is Paul's intention, like coming back to it again and again and again. Like one of the ways I've kind of described what we're trying to see happen and what I hope and pray is happening in our church is, even by like last week was a little bit of a breather, like now we come back. And so we're staying in the conversation, we're staying on the topic. And I think there's something good about that. And, it's a little bit like you dip your toe in the water and is it safe and how'd that go? And then it gives you a little more trust and like, oh, okay, and then we can go a little deeper and a little further. And so that's the way I've described it. We're trying to create a conversation in our church. I think that's been happening. I've been hearing good things and, in general, like, this is just one area of our lives. It's obviously a powerful one, but we're just trying to get more vulnerable, more real, more transparent with one another, living real life together.
I think you have a pretty good question here in regards to the body. Why essentially do we make a special category for the body, sever it from the soul, sever it from, spiritual things? I know I gave a message a while back on the theology of like your health and like the body.
I know a guy who still talks about that message.
Well, it made me think a lot about this topic, and I'm just going to answer my own question, but like I'm thinking like bare minimum, it's a stewardship thing, right? I mean, just like, okay, this is a resource we have, and so we're going to use it for the glory of God. I'm curious where else you take that.
Yeah. So I asked, I wrote the question, like, why do we do this? Because they were doing it too. So, it's one of the heresies of kind of the first and second century and it's kind of like, it was already embedded in Greek culture. It's like body's bad or doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. All that really matters is kind of the soul or what's happening on the inside. For us, we would say the spiritual. And that's really convenient because if we sever those two, it allows us to kind of get away with some stuff on the bodily front. And the Corinthians are definitely doing that, and Paul is addressing that here. But, and so really one of the things that I say in this question and in the message, we're going to say, like, Paul's really laying out like a super robust theology of the body. And what he's saying is like, while God looks at the heart, back to, 1 Samuel, man looks at the outward appearance, God looks at the heart. But it's so clear here, God really cares about cares about our bodies. Yeah. And so while he's looking at the heart, what we do with our bodies really matters to God. And in fact, I mean, this is I think something unique to the Christian faith. Jesus became a body, like he took on a body. That's the incarnation. And so that is a total, like, it's affirming the physical. and like it's God saying again to his creation, I created all this and it's good. Yeah, it's broken now, but it's good. And so the incarnation itself is an affirmation of the physical, and Jesus had a body. Jesus' body was resurrected from the dead. And in this text, Paul says, you're going to be resurrected too. Your body matters so much that God's going to raise it, even as he raised Christ's body. And so Paul's really aiming to bring the body into the spiritual, because we're whole people, and we can't split the two, even though it's really convenient for us to do so. So there's some, and I think we can do that too. Like, I mean, it's not the focus of this passage, but just kind of like not taking care of our bodies. Well, God really it only matters what's happening on the inside. So I feel like
I can even like slip into that mentality of just like, focusing on eternity and heaven, and it seems so spiritual, and yet like that's not what we see in Scripture. It's God cares deeply about the physical.
Yeah. And he's going to renew this creation.
Renew this creation now.
It's crazy. He's going to take the stuff of, this is a great parallel. He's going to take the stuff of this creation and renew it. Like, I think that's going to be pretty radical in terms of how he does that. But the Bible teaches too that that's exactly what he's going to do with our bodies. Like, and when I start to like stretch that out and kind of go like, okay, I'm turning to dust. My dust is going to be like scattered all over the rest of the universe. Like, how is that going to work? But the Bible is affirming that that's up to God. He's going to take all this matter and put it where it goes, and he's going to take the matter of our bodies and completely renew it into new bodies. Like, boo! Talk about physical affirming, body affirming. Like, we're going to have bodies, physical bodies that'll be different, they'll be immortal, but they're going to be bodies forever. That's radical.
It is radical. I feel like that's some category forming there. I don't want to go down the weeds. I know we're running out of time. But it's like our money. It's like that's physical in a way, and it represents something here in the tangible. It matters. We're stewards over it. It all matters. Yeah. And yet, like, there will be an accounting for it. Maybe, I don't know. I could get in the weeds with you too on molecules and atoms.
Yeah.
I don't
get understand. Like, there's mystery here. Like,
there's mystery.
Like everything Paul's talking about here. I think one of the things, it's like, I don't understand this. Here's what I do with it. Like, when he's talking about marriage and being united with Christ and being united even in marriage, like, and then Paul says it in Ephesians, this mystery is great. Like, but I think what we can do is like, whoa, this thing is bigger and higher and more profound and more mysterious than I understand.
Yes,
we tend to minimize, we tend to trivialize, we tend to like, and that gives us license to kind of, well, it doesn't really matter. I think another, sorry, we're going off, we need to quit, but I think another challenge for me as I grow older is, like, the reality is, like, our outer, Paul says in 2 Corinthians, our bodies are wasting away, which almost feels like they don't matter. And so somehow we got to hold on to the fact that they do matter, even though they're aging. That's a result of the fall. But God cares about them, and he's going to bring them back to life. He's going to renew them. And so both those things are true. But that can lead me to my body's falling apart. Must not matter to God, but it still does.
And we cheapen that reality if we don't
great word.
Realize just we were bought at a price, and like that is a high price.
Yes.
So I know we got to wrap up. So any last thoughts before I pray?
Nope. Get us out of here.
All right, Lord, thank you for your Son. Thank you for that payment for our souls, for our bodies. You've purposed us to use these things for your glory, and it's a hard road. It is. And I know there's a lot of us in this church who, all of us are dealing with this. And so, Lord, give us grace, give us a renewed sense of purpose for these bodies, and a commitment to follow you in this category of sexual immorality. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Growth Group leaders, thank you so much for your part in helping people find and follow Jesus here at Grace Central Coast.